Ocala.
All right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock, 82 degrees here at the studios of The Source, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall. Carol Ann Baldwin was in the studio. We call this show In the Garden with Carol Ann, and this is a full-hour show, and your calls are an important part of the show. If you'd like to call in and talk about your garden or have a question for Carol Ann about your garden or your lawn or anything plant-related, the number is 622-9622. Good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. I was telling everybody my grass, I think it grew faster this week. I'm not really sure, but...
May have. Well, we had some rain, quite a bit of rain.
It was as long as it normally is after 2 weeks of not cutting it. It was
it's the rain, the heat, humidity, all that. It's going, ooh, time
really
to grow.
healthy looking, though. I mean, that's good, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, it is. I mean, you look out here at the Paddock Mall, and this a few weeks back had a little bit of
this really.
Yeah, this grass
didn't
it wasn't looking as rich.
But it looks
green
nice
color
now, doesn't
it? Yes, it does right now. Yeah, everything. This August always. I remember my mother-in-law years ago saying once August came, things would get past you, would get out of hand in the garden. It's like this is the jungle season. It's when everything has overgrown.
I think that's a good way to describe it.
And everything like that you planted in March and April and tended to things in May and June, and suddenly the rains come in June, July, and August, and things just explode with growth, including weeds and vines that get out of hand and things like that. And it would just be just the jungle season.
Is that your phone?
No.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know. It's a commercial.
Where's that coming from? What the heck is it coming from?
I don't.
That's not your phone?
No.
Where the heck is
phone's
it?
on silent. And
I don't know where's something.
it's my computer. Something
Oh, it's your computer.
Playing.
Oh, okay.
Something is playing on there, and I don't even see a microphone open.
My job is to monitor.
Oh, there it is.
Monitor sound, and I'm supposed to be able to figure out where it all comes from.
I think I turned it off.
There you go. I don't hear it.
I didn't even see the little thingy there. It's gone. Yeah. Some commercial came up on my.
So the persistent problem I have with my little sago palms, is that vine that keeps getting caught up in all of them.
In there, yeah.
Do you think if I were to, because I don't have, see how they have around those horses? What do you call that?
Mulch. Yeah.
So would that stop it if I created a little zone around it?
Somewhat. I mean, the best way to do it would be to try to get out of it as much as you can. Of course, with that sago,
it's so pokey.
I was going to say, with the sago, it's so hard to get up underneath there. Even though you said you have trimmed up a bunch of the stuff,
but I got to get under there and do it again.
That if you get underneath there, if you can find that vine and start to treat that vine, you'll help to kill off those roots, and then putting the mulch helps. Or once you've got that some of that to where you then have a trunk on that sago, you can start to see it come up, which makes it a little easier to get in there and treat it as it starts to come up when it's small each spring. You get out there every so often and go, oh, look, it's popping back up.
It's a pretty vine, but it's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And if you let them go, I mean, any of these things are going to flower, seed, and sprout up even more.
Get more of them, yeah.
Right. So the best thing to do is try to wipe them out ahead of time.
You have a phone call, and we enjoy our phone calls. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning. I'm traveling, so I hope I don't lose you. But we have hibiscus, and they have a lot of buds on them. Of course, they bloomed a lot, but they've still got a lot of new buds.
Right.
and something is happening. They're falling off.
Yep.
Is something knocking them off, or what?
No, more than likely what you have is a flower thrip. Did you get that? It's an insect.
Yeah.
There's an insect that will attack the buds as they're forming. They get into those buds. You'll start to see a whole mess of buds all over them. Then suddenly the little stem will turn yellow, and then they just drop off. And it's so part of that is that they'll be in there. The adults may have left after they've done their damage. Make sure they get cleaned up, and you may need to spray.
With what?
Pretty much any of the insecticides that are going to be labeled for ornamentals is going to take care of them.
Okay.
Rose and flower sprays should take care of it. With as I always teach or preach, applying any of the pesticides, do it late so that you don't have your bees and other beneficials out.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, because there's another one I like, but again, this one I know is toxic to bees, so using it per the directions, which would be at the evening hours, is the spinosad. It's I think locally you're going to find it under Captain Jack's dead bug juice.
Oh, okay.
It is an organic pesticide, but it does happen to be one that has a pretty high toxicity to bees. So just again, read the directions and use it. I always say the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. is your safest time for pesticides.
Well, okay. If Captain Jack can kill our bugs, that's what we want.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Funny name.
It is, but it sure does catch your eye that it's something you're going to remember, when you go back in to buy another bottle of it or something like that. I had the one that said dead bug juice, or I had the Captain Jack's.
Right.
Makes you think you're going to the liquor store, but it's one of those just kind of fun kind of things.
So did you hear there's a storm out there that's calling
it's got too many letters.
Invest 99L, that's what they're calling it?
Right. I wonder, can you place bets on it with a name like that?
Anyway, they're saying by the end of the week it might be reaching us. So
right.
Maybe more rain.
We could be getting more rain. But then again, sometimes depending on where they come in, if they just run the coast, we have a tendency to have some really nice weather.
I know.
It pulls all that moisture out, and we have the skies like we have
just
right
like
now, and
yeah.
lower humidities and things like that. And it's, sometimes we get blessed with those just being in the middle of the state.
Do you know the wettest I remember it here was not during the hurricanes of 2004, and I don't remember what year it was, but I'm sure you remember this.
Yeah.
When the water level was so high, if you drove across Payne's Prairie,
there was water.
It was like a lake again, like it used to be in the old days.
It actually had, almost like navigable, navigable water, and it came up on, I think,
onto the interstate,
onto 441, and the alligators
right
were
there,
in the lanes. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I do.
I don't remember what year that was. Do you happen to remember? It wasn't the year of the hurricanes. It was a different year.
It wasn't long before that, though. I think
you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
But that was, and then it held that water for a while.
Yes.
In there about a year or so, I want to say, because it brought Orange Lake back up. The prairie came back. The prairie came back up
as a lake.
As a lake, and like I said, with a canoe or a kayak, you could probably have navigated some of those areas.
And that area used to be a lake, according to.
Well, that's how the.
They had a paddle boat on it back in those days.
Yep.
Gosh, what was I? In Bellevue. I lived in Bellevue at that time. Right. There was a place on the north part of Bellevue that had a lake, even though it's never a lake. It's kind of like a little indent in the ground. But in that time period, there was like a temporary lake there for maybe a week or whatever. Right. And we have a phone call coming in. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
If I spray the garden area with a weed killer, and then till it in to hopefully plant a fall garden, will it still be in the soil?
No.
the weed killer?
No.
I use like Roundup or whatever.
If you're just using the basic ones where it doesn't have any residuals, right, it's not going to have anything. Read the directions on what your time period's going to be, because usually what you'll do is you'll spray and you're going to wait. You're not going to till it immediately, because you need that to get down into the roots of those plants, the weeds, grasses, and things like that are growing in place. And then what I would probably do just personally would be to like skim till initially and get off a lot of that out of there, because you don't want any of the extra, because it could possibly still be on that plant material. We don't compost items that we've used herbicides and things on. So to till it down into the garden, I'd be more one to skim cut it with the tiller or with the hoe, rake off that top surface stuff, then till it in. So you're talking, maybe like about a week's worth of time period, 10 days maybe.
Okay.
All right.
And for like a fall garden, when and what can you plant?
You can actually on fall gardens start now. We're here in the middle of, we're almost at the end actually of August. First part of September, today I put in couple of tomatoes and a couple of peppers. I want to get in some squash, cucumbers, all the stuff that you would have planted in early spring. You can plant now until I'd say about the middle of September, maybe the third week of September. And then after that, you're going to be looking at that cool season garden where you might be starting your lettuce and cabbage and collards and kale and things like that coming in starting, the end of September, first part of October, when we start to cool down somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And carrots?
Carrots are cool season. I would probably wait until at least October for them, even November, and make successive plantings of those. I like to do those and my lettuce and things like that successively. Put a few plants a small patch of carrots, every 2 weeks, instead of having everything at once, or even 3 weeks, because carrots take a long time to germinate, take a long time to grow, but you don't want to also harvest all of your carrots at once necessarily.
Right.
So,
how about beets?
Beets season. If you're looking for the beets to grow, the beet itself, the fruit, the tuber, make sure you give them enough space. You can plant them close together and then harvest out small ones and use for greens, but make sure that you give them a good amount, at least 2 to 4 inches between plants.
So they would be the same as carrots, October, November?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Carolyn, we have to take a little break, and we will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Tuesday will feature more sun than clouds with a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, but mainly dry along the coast, the high 92 to 96. Fair skies Tuesday night. There may be a shower late at night along the coast, low 74 to 78. For Wednesday, times of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm around. Anytime at the coast, only in the afternoon, though, over the interior, the high Wednesday 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Looking to put your money to work? Florida Credit Union has a CD special, 25 months for 1.41% APY with a $10,000 minimum, federally insured by the NCUA, a government agency. These rates effective through August 31st, subject to change at any time. Visit one of Florida Credit Union's convenient locations today or their website at flcu.org or 352-237-8222. Don't miss this 25 months CD special. Again, the APY is 1.41%. Act now. Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Ocala. This is Kelly Hart, Executive Editor of Ocala Magazine. Did you know last year Ocala Magazine won more awards in excellence than any other publication in Florida? And this year, Ocala Magazine was named Best Consumer Magazine in the state. Now you can join me every Friday at 10 a.m. on Ocala Magazine Radio, where we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life, right here on The Source. Ocala Magazine thanks you for making us number one. And remember, there is only one Ocala Magazine.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
WWWOCA, WWWOCA.
Be sure to tune in to Ocala's longest-running morning radio talk show.
AM Ocala Live from 7 a.m. till noon weekdays.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
WOCA.
All right, nice looking Tuesday morning, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, 81 degrees. It actually went down to 1 degree, Caroline.
Wow.
And you have somebody waiting patiently.
Right.
I believe it's Sonny. Good morning, Sonny. You're on the air.
Good morning, Larry. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good.
Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning.
The thing, I remember that flooding on Payne's Prairie.
Right.
And I think it had to have been around 1998, 99, somewhere around there.
Could be,
We
yeah.
had just moved into our house in December of 96. I think I was heading up to Gainesville for the VA. And take care of some business up there.
Right.
But anyway, I was behind a tractor-trailer truck, and you can actually see the pavement go down and then come up again, and the water squishing out the sides of the pavement.
Wow.
And there was also, because it was so high, the gators were able to swim over the fence.
Right.
More or less keeps them out.
Right.
And there was one actually crawling onto I-75.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think it was that flooding that actually made the DOT create those under the road crossovers
really?
and that wall and stuff to keep the gators and other wildlife down on the prairie. Was
really? I didn't know that.
after that flooding, because there were people, you couldn't, if you've got a flat tire, you were at the mercy of the gators.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But it was really amazing. You ride there and look on both sides of the road and see nothing but water with a couple cases of trees sticking out.
Yeah, that was really unusual for because how long has it and it doesn't do that too often. It takes quite a bit of water to fill that up.
I've seen some high water in there, but the fence was still visible, so I guess that was keeping the gators and everything more or less where they should be.
Right.
Off the road. But it was, that's something that sticks in your head, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. You too.
So I didn't realize that's why they built those under.
Yeah, it was to keep
animals.
keep the critters on in a safer zone. Because it also makes a hazard to the drivers too. I mean, nothing worse. Something coming out in the road. People have a tendency to swerve. And you don't want to
hit anything.
No.
But I would imagine the gator could flip you.
Right,
It's
or
big.
damage your vehicle just because of the size. Right.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
See, when I remember that rainy year, because we had our first home in Florida was out in the forest on a lake, and a year before that rainy year, I added a new pier, and it went out about 70 feet for the water line, and that pier was almost underwater during that year. Wow. 2 years later, when I sold the house, the water was about 30 feet away from the end of the pier.
Wow. Yeah. That shows you the fluctuations that occur.
Well, I tell you, it's almost scary. Anyways, the reason I really called is I had such success with ryegrass last year, and I planted it a little bit on the lakeside. Probably was around just before the holidays, and it took a while before it came up, but it came up, and it was great till almost all of April yet.
Right.
I'm just wondering, when can I really seed that, put that down, would you say, the earliest?
I would probably say not till October. September is still pretty hot. And I would look at more of October because it is definitely a cool season grass, though you want a little bit of warmth so that it'll germinate quickly and begin to grow. Now, when it's growing in October, you're probably still going to need to mow the grass while that's coming up. So any end of the year fertilization on the lawn, get that done. Well, get that done now or by the middle of September, and that way you're not going to have too high of a fertility come, say, the middle of October to go ahead and put that rye down. And then your grass should be starting to go into a dormancy a little bit, but you'll still be mowing.
Yeah, I know it. I live on an acre lot, but I don't do the whole lot.
Right.
I just do some spots that look like, they look bad, and my wife says, do something about it, so I did,
Right.
And it turned out great.
Sure.
And what really happened was the grass that came in after the ryegrass that wasn't there before was there, and it's looking really good now.
Right.
So evidently that ryegrass helped bring on the regular grass.
And what it did was it helped to choke out weeds that may have started to come up if you had left them as bare spots. And if you do keep the ryegrass mowed, it's also throwing that little bit of nitrogen back in the ground the whole growing season, plus whatever other or not through its growing season, which is your grass's general dormant season. And so it's actually feeding your lawn. Just don't let it grow. A lot of people let it grow a little too high, and then it starts to choke out or shade out your natural turf that's in there. So that's why I say during the growing season, you really are going to mow. In the wintertime, once we start to really get cool, to let it get, say a half inch taller or an inch taller than what your natural turf would be mowed at is going to be okay, especially if we're going to get really cold, because that'll help protect that grass.
On top of the ryegrass, when it gets towards the end of its cycle, more or less, can I throw regular grass seed on that, and what would that take?
I would probably, because you've got a Bahia lawn, correct?
Exactly.
Right. It would be near the end of that season where you're starting to mow that down, because, April is probably in the shadier areas of the yard, or in areas that stay cooler, a little more moist, that the rye will stay there. So April isn't a bad time to put the grass seed down.
Okay.
So, you probably could, but I would probably mow that rye, before, mow it, then put your seed down. And because you got to get that grass seed down to the soil level to get it to to germinate and take.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much for your information.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your program.
Thanks.
Thank you. If you'd like to call in, the number is 622-9622. If you're new to the show, welcome to the show. And don't forget, there is a Facebook page that Carol Ann has set up that is a great visual way to kind of show you some of the things that Carol Ann talks about.
Right. And it's also an outlet for anyone else. If you have a question, or you have a picture of something neat that you grew or that you've experienced or something like that, share it with us. It is a group page in the garden. It is a closed group, so you do have to ask to join, and no problem. I go ahead, and I haven't turned anybody away yet. So that.
But you got to behave once you're a member.
Right, you got to behave, and that way on Tuesday morning, I put out the thing, just sort of a reminder about 15 minutes before the show comes on. So, in case you're busy or doing something, you might be able to, hey, I'm on my computer, I can tune in and listen live on WOCA.com, or I can, you can tune your radio, however, so.
It is a cool thing to have. Yeah. By the way, there was a story. I'm looking for it real quick. I don't want to tell you the whole thing, but it's on. It's on the Weather Channel website, and it's titled "The 15 Best Plants for Cleaner Indoor Air."
Oh yeah.
And the first one it shows. I don't know if there's a listing here, but the first one is aloe.
Right. Oh.
We've got less than a minute before we go to the break, but you do have a caller. You want? We'll just get this call started, and then we'll have to perhaps split it in two. Yep. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hey. I have a question about the Meyer lemon.
Okay.
My daughter's tree is bearing a lot of fruit.
Okay.
And the limbs are bending over, and one of them is starting to split. It's not an old tree. It's a young tree.
Right. I would prop it up and probably remove some of those lemons off those branches.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Wow, quick answer.
Yep, quick answer.
Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. That was quick.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Donald Trump keeps up the call for an independent probe of the Clinton Foundation.
He said the Justice Department cannot be trusted.
It has proven itself to be, really, sadly, a political arm of the White House.
Trump suggested Clinton's actions at the State Department amounted to corruption.
Hillary Clinton, appearing on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, says that Trump makes things up about her, also joking about the emails she's ordered to release.
Jimmy, my emails are so boring.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm embarrassed about that. They're so boring. And so we've already released, 30,000 plus. So what's a few more?
The president heading today to Louisiana for a first-hand look at the flooding, which has damaged some 60,000 homes, forced thousands into temporary housing. And a Navy sailor from Virginia Beach charged with trying to hire a hitman to kill his estranged wife. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road, and with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the certified pre-owned sales event, now through August 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and 0.99% APR financing on select models, available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties. APR offer available only to qualified customers. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for details about costs and terms.
It's rodeo time in Ocala. The 34th annual Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo returns to the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion September 2nd and 3rd. 7:30 nightly, cowboys ride to help children walk with all the major events of pro rodeo. Get your tickets now for broncs, bulls, and babes, cowboys, cowgirls, and you. September 2nd and 3rd, the Ocala Shrine Pro Rodeo. Don't miss it.
Have you heard of Hyperdirectory? When looking for local businesses, go to hyper.directory. No need for www, no need for .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to local companies when it matters most. Hyperdirectory is your local business directory partnered with the Ocala Chamber and Economic Partnership to bring you trusted local businesses. Keeping Ocala local. Use hyper.directory. No www, not even .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to businesses when it matters most.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA. All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, 82 degrees. Let's return to Carol Ann and In the Garden with Carol Ann.
Yeah. You know what? I want to go back. I know we were talking about a little on indoor air plants, but first let me go back to something on the hibiscus.
Okay.
Because it's something I've gotten a lot at work, hearing a lot, is that premature bud drop. And most of the time it is a thrip, or it can be a thrip. But it also has other causes, and some of those other causes can be done by over-fertilization, actually, or even the poor drainage. We have excessive rain. If just last week you had some of those deluge rainstorms that we had in your neighborhood where we got 2 or 3 inches at once, that puts a lot of stress on those plants. I mean, those roots stay wet for a while, so it stresses them. You'll get some leaf drop, you'll get bud drop, and things like that. Once, some of those rains stop, your flowering should, pick back up. You might, think about when was the last time you fertilized. If it has been 3 months or so, it might be time to go ahead and put another dose of fertilizer on. Again, realizing here we're at August. When do you want to do your last one for the season? So you might even wait to put that down until September. But the thrip is something else that you could take some of those buds, bring them in the house or in your, wherever you do your gardening stuff, get a white paper plate or sheet of paper, break that bud open on there and look. If something starts moving, you've got thrips. And a little hygiene in the garden, clean up all that stuff that has dropped down underneath there, and that's going to help to stop some of the spread of any disease problems or other pests. So watch for the flower bud, the bud drop. If you're finding that your buds are suddenly look like they've been chewed off, the culprit on that one's going to be your squirrels. They do love hibiscus buds. But no, take a look, at the environmental factors we can't deal with, or we may or may not be able to change. You could change poor drainage, but excessive water and things like that. Watch, if you've been real dry, real wet, over fertilization, under fertilization, everything it's back and forth. You just got to think about what's been going on in your environment. And then again, the pest issue. And if you're going to use pesticides, my rule of thumb is 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So.
All right.
All righty. Hopefully that helps on some of that.
So the plants in the article said that they would clean the air.
Right.
There was a story in the news, can I tell you this real quickly?
Sure.
Out of Wisconsin, and it was about a farmer who died, and so did 16 of his cows. And the man and his 16 cows all died because they were overcome with manure fumes.
Wow, the methane gas?
It says the methane, the methane and sulfur oxide that accumulated.
My.
So it shows a picture inside the barn or a barn. I don't know if it's his barn.
Right.
Okay, all the cows' butts are like facing the middle. I guess so. It all goes in one place, which just kind of seems unfair to the cow. But anyway, I mean, would these plants help clean up that air? I mean, if these plants can literally filter out bad gases,
they can filter out quite a bit of stuff. You'd have to, in a barn or something, you'd probably need quite a bit, and whether or not you'd have enough light. But if you had, say, skylights that's providing much of your lighting, which I would think, barns, it would make sense to me to have skylights, just the panels.
Yeah.
And if you ran, say, the pothos, which is a hanging plant, down, just not to where where the animals can get to them, it's going to filter out some of those, some of those pollutants within that area, improve the air quality. But most of that they're talking about in the office, where, there's new carpeting and paint. Things like that, or in your home.
Not something as intense.
As intense, I mean, that would take a lot of plant material. I mean, nowadays, and I'm not sure if I spoke about it when I had come back from Fort Lauderdale back in January, where in some metropolitan areas they're doing living walls, where there's walls and they're all planted and they're indoors. Or some of them are on the outside of buildings, but in a cityscape where you may not have a whole lot of trees, here's this greenery on a building or inside the building where it may be one whole, yes, I know, unless you're watching on WOCA.com, you cannot see me waving at the wall behind me, where they do the whole wall. And these, any plant's going to clean the air just because of the way the plants work. They take in carbon dioxide, they emit oxygen. Your big ones where they list them as ones to have in the home to clean the air, your aloe vera, Chinese evergreen, Dracaena marginata, your philodendrons, peace lily, spider plant. Those are all decorative ornamentals, but all plants will. But these ones have been tested and proved that they really take out a lot for the size of the plant that they are. And the
lot of what?
A lot of different toxins out of our air. You bring in new furniture and new carpeting into a house.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chemical residual that's emitted off of those paints in your house, draperies and things like that. All of these can be indoor pollutants.
And the plant can handle that, taking those poisons in.
Yeah, they can take those in. They can filter it through where we may, or if you have a person who's sensitive, has some allergies to, or things like that. The plants, actually green plants, because they're not so much a flowering, pollen-producing plants, will, filter the air without causing other allergies.
And you have a phone call.
Right.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, gang.
Morning.
Enjoying listening to you this morning as usual.
Thanks.
I'm not a cow expert, but I've owned horses for some time and had some barns that were previously cow barns. And this manure management is an important part of the whole the whole picture.
I'm sure.
That manure has some value. I don't have to tell you that. I'm sure,
Right.
Caroline, it's excellent fertilizer. But inside of the barn, it's really foolish to think that even 10 plants per cow is going to take care of that methane problem.
No.
They have typically inside of the barn, the older ones, they had a lot of them had a hole in the floor. If there's a floor underneath, that's called a scuttle, and they would shovel the manure into that. It's basically a trap door,
right?
And they would shovel it down below, probably into a manure spreader right underneath it, and then go spread it out in the field or wherever you wanted it,
right?
Or they would have an automated. There's like a ditch down the middle of it, and the manure would fall into the ditch, and then it would have a conveyor belt type of a thing that would bring it outside. And you have to have a lot of ventilation.
Oh, yeah, fans and things.
It's very dangerous stuff.
Oh, sure.
Wow. Can it explode?
Methane can explode. I mean,
Really?
if you had the gas buildup, but we've all, you've heard of methane gas explosions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I know that, you're not going to clean it out with any amount of air. I mean, any amount of plants, really. But like you say, that they call
The
waste
plants might
management.
die.
Yeah, the plants could be too much for them even. And it said, basically a waste management, manure management out of that barn. So anytime if you're raising some home chickens, that manure is not good to be breathing in. Use caution when handling that litter from those. Because it just make you sick.
That's in a lot of golf courses spread it on the greens, so it has a value, but you have to handle it carefully.
Oh yeah, and that's and black cow. We go out and buy it. It's mature manure. But right, I understand. Good point on that though. That good manure management could have possibly prevented his demise.
Yeah, it said,
and it's really surprising because they also use that manure in the cows also create a great deal of heat on their own, like you'd never see a heated barn.
Right.
And so I'm surprised even in the wintertime if they didn't have some ventilation in there, because that's a very, very, very hot barn.
Oh, I can
see where the heat and the methane could definitely overcome and kill somebody.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, have a good day.
Let me just read what it says. It says, a coroner revealed that a Wisconsin farmer and more than a dozen cows died when they became overcome by fumes from a huge manure holding tank. According to WAOW-TV, 29-year-old Michael Biadez was found by other farmers early Monday when they arrived at the farm near Amherst to haul away manure from the football field-sized tanker. Portage County Coroner Scott Rifleman said that that the deaths of the man and the cows are under investigation, but they were probably overcome by methane and sulfur oxide. He said the farmer agitated the tank and that this, along with the warm upper air temperatures, created a deadly dome of air. Wow.
Wow, so it may have just overcome him quickly. Doesn't sound like I'm not going to volunteer for that job. No, I'll stay on the outside of the barn. Thank you.
My gosh. Okay, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Tuesday will feature more sun than clouds with a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, but mainly dry along the coast, the high 92 to 96. Fair skies Tuesday night. There may be a shower late at night along the coast, low 74 to 78. For Wednesday, times of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm around. Anytime at the coast, only in the afternoon, though, over the interior, the high Wednesday 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
In a nutshell, spicier food is just healthier. Women are traditionally more social than men, which means they have a stable support system to help them through tough times. But guys tend to only rely on their partner for emotional support. The ambient noise of a coffee shop is the ideal environment to work in. It has just enough background noise to block out distractions and keep people creative and productive.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Some would say that this country is in the toilet. Some would even go so far as to say the economy is going down the drain. But we say, if water runs through it, we do it.
Hi, I'm Sean Scott, owner of Mike Scott Plumbing, and I approve this message.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. The show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann. Do you know the gardening world and the back-to-school world came together this week, last week, when there was a story about how not back-to-school, but school snacks are now more about vegetables than they are about Little Debbie's and things like that.
Right. Yeah, a lot more
even
healthy
McDonald's.
snacks.
Even McDonald's doesn't offer fries anymore in the Happy Meals. They offer apple slices and whatever else.
Well, I think on the regular Happy Meal, it was like a real small amount of French fries and the apple slices. So the kids still got a few French fries. It was a little teeny. At least it was, because they still.
I thought it said you had to ask for a French fry.
Oh, maybe you do now.
Well, French fries is a vegetable. So.
Well, but it's fried in oil. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, if you introduce kids to healthy snacks before before they get the Twinkie. Save the Twinkie for a special occasion, and have the carrot sticks, the celery sticks. You can have dip with them, peanut butter, whatever.
What do you think? What would you put? Like if you were sending a bag of blueberries or something?
Yeah, I mean that's when I make I carry my lunch to work, and it was like I had blueberries in the freezer. Throw a little bit in a container. Now, yes, I will put just a half a teaspoon of sugar on them, just so that they're evenly sweet. It helps to bring out some of that. It has a little syrup at the bottom of it, and it's a little bit, the little extra sugar, a little pick you up. But no, I'll take celery and a hummus dip or a yogurt-based dip with it. You can have ranch dressing. I bought the little packages, the little portion cups, or I have a little Tupperware container where you can put that in. Salsa. And chips even. I mean, the salsa itself is full of vegetables. Right. And there's different salsas you can make. I mean, some of them are vegetable-based. I'm not a big carrot eater, so I don't mind if other people don't like carrots either. I grow carrots, and I'll eat them. I have to have them in certain dishes that I make, and I like them in there. But to grab a carrot and eat it, no. Not one to, I'm not going to do it. But I love celery to do that. A little bit of salt or a little peanut butter.
I used to love salt on carrots, but my teeth are not the same as they once were.
But that's, so to have the healthier snacks and gardening. A lot of schools too today are beginning to do schoolyard gardens.
Really?
Whether or not they're little small things, not just the whole little science project of watch the seed sprout in the clear plastic cups so you can see the roots and all that, but actually growing things. I just hope that when the teachers are doing this, that they're also coming up with recipes on how to prepare it. Maybe even helping the older students, the 4th and 5th grade age, actually create something out of this so that they're introduced and learn something new. Because I know particularly my grandson, to get him to eat a vegetable is, it's like pulling eye teeth. So it's, his idea of vegetables is a little bit of spinach on a Subway sub, corn on the cob,
Don't blame him for that.
That maybe, I'm not sure if he's into the sliced tomato or not with some garlic on it, but it's tough to get him to eat vegetables. So, hopefully these, that some interest of here's what fresh food tastes like. Maybe that's why you haven't liked it so much, is because processed foods. When the school lunch green beans
seem
might
like a
not
good
be
idea,
as much.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Hopefully, not just flowers, but perks a little interest in.
Do you know what came to mind as you were talking? In my personal story is that I actually moved to Florida when I was 17.
Right.
And by 17, you're kind of, so I was basically a city kid,
right,
but still had to finish school here. And because I moved to Denellen, agriculture was a required subject that I never had.
Okay.
So I was basically taking, agriculture 101, whatever it
right.
was. And I often thought that would have been I don't know why they don't teach that in the urban areas. I mean, a kid growing up in the city should at least know how it's done.
Where their food comes from.
Yeah.
And that's, and again, but then there's also some other things that they're saying that kids are not getting out of school or even out of their home life, some of those basic life skills. And some of that, I think, goes with that. Years ago, through Extension, we used to do a little pumpkin patch for preschool age children. They, were generally about 4 years of age, or at least they were not in the regular school. They were pre-K. And we went through and showed, where to pumpkins. We usually had to fake out and use our squash plants for pumpkins because our pumpkins would usually fail. But how tomatoes were growing and things like that. We did it in October, and it was surprising to hear the parents of these children, and this is here in Ocala, Marion County, going, "Oh my God, I didn't know that's how sweet potatoes grew."
That would be me. I'd be the parent saying
that's how squash is.
That would be me.
And you ask the little ones, because we would have little sample packets of peanuts. I guess we couldn't do that today too much, but just because of peanut allergies, having to be so careful. But most kids, where do peanuts come from? You ask them the question, and it's Mr. Peanut, in a jar.
Yeah, right.
Where do you get this? At Publix, It's
a really good point.
That's right here in Central Florida, where we're not an ultra urban area. Where
you would think that even here,
some of these kids, that more.
I like
more
the
and
idea
more
that little garden idea that you just had. That's a really good idea.
I know well because we're not in Marion County where I work. That they're. Our store that's actually doing a garden project in one of the elementary schools down in Sumter County. And so it's something that one's getting started right here at the beginning of the school year. And I know many of the Marion County schools also have garden programs that go on, and they're using it within the curriculum. So depending on the age of the children, some of it's learning. You can use math in gardens. You can use writing skills in gardens because you're taking notes and watching science go on in the garden. And just all kinds of different things that can carry into the classroom as well as onto the future of knowing where foods come from, how things grow. Maybe the littler ones don't get quite so much out of it as some of the older children, but it is something I think a small life skill to at least even if you can't go home and garden at home, but if you've got a small plot, you can put a pot and you can grow something. All it needs is a little bit of sun.
We have about 3.5 minutes left. Do you have any upcoming gardening events we can go to?
Yeah, we do. Actually, the Vegetable Garden Expo is Saturday, September the 10th from 9 to 1. Different educational seminars going on. It's all going to be on edible items. So if you're looking to start that fall garden or anything like that, come on out for that. September 10th is not too late to get that garden going. Some of the ideas you might take with you even into the springtime. If you're a newbie in the area or have always wanted to take the Florida Gardening 101, there is still time to register for that. Have to register by the 29th, which is this coming Monday. It's a $50 per couple fee, $30 single person. It's 5 evenings in a row, and you will take everything of gardening within Central Florida. It takes you from the soil to the stuff to propagate your own to refill it. So that one, call over to the Extension office at 671-8400. And if you call over there, you can get on their email list, and they don't spam you with a whole bunch of junk. They just email you when there's activities that are coming up, whether they be the garden series that happen at the different libraries or at the on top of the world continuing education areas, as well as the items that are going on at Extension. And I don't know if we have, let me make sure I'm not too late on this. No, I'm not. Any of those folks who like to run and jog and do 5Ks and stuff like that, the 4-H has a Color Me Green 5K fun run and walk September the 24th at Jervey Gant Park. Race starts at 9 a.m. There is an early bird registration by September the 1st of $15. Children 5 and under are free. You can register at Why don't you look up the Color Me Green, but it's the www.bit.ly/Color Me Green. Or you can also call over to Extension and ask, and they'll aim you if you didn't get that. But if you like those color runs where you get splatted with
cornstarch, I think it is.
Colored cornstarch. Yeah. It's got to be something that's non-toxic to anybody. So, but there's and I think maybe next week I'm going to try to get into this Earthwise Guide to Products Toxicity Ratings. Look up, if you're interested, growgreen.org, and you might be able to find it, but we'll talk about that next week.
All right, good show as always. And for the listeners, don't forget, there's a website, a Facebook page that Carol Ann has set up just to be a companion piece to the radio show.
Yep.
Go to Facebook, and it's called In the Garden.
There you go.
Ask to be a member. Carol Ann will say, all right, come on in.
Sure, come on in.
Just don't sell anything.
Right, come on in. Sit on the couch. Bring up,
Don't be selling eyeglasses and sunglasses.
Don't be selling sunglasses. But
Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thanks, Larry.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA.